All right, guys, for free, I am right now going to save you thousands of dollars that you would spend going to a therapist, because I'm going to tell you how to control your emotions, how to experience only the emotions that you want to experience. And I'm going to do it for free. Or you can go ahead and spend thousands of dollars going to a therapist. I kind of like my system better. All right, it's true. I've been kind of putting off doing this video because we're getting into some really complicated stuff. But it's something that we've got to delve into, and I like to try to keep these under 10 minutes. I'm going to assume, at least I'm going to hope, that you've already seen the video, and I've got a link of it in description to where you can view it. It discusses how we have one awareness, but we have multiple different consciousnesses. Each consciousness is a vehicle. Think of it as a vehicle in itself. Please see my video, How to Stop Your Internal Chatter, or Your Internal Dialogue. I really get into the different consciousness of our senses. Okay, each sense has its own consciousness. I want you to now expand on that concept. Okay, let's move one step further. Each one of our emotions is a consciousness in itself. It's almost a personality aspect, because now we're getting into personality aspects, which is going to be a video all on its own. Trust me, I'm going to do it, okay? But let's take this step by step. We understand the concept now of each sense being a consciousness of its own. If I'm in my sense of hearing, I'm probably not thinking, or at least my internal chatter. I'm not in the awareness of the mind. If I'm touching something and I'm really focused on feeling it, notice that I'm not hearing anything, because my awareness is in the consciousness of touch. Think of it as a consciousness. The emotions are exactly the same way. Each emotion is tied into a different personality aspect. While your awareness is within a different emotion, you will note other emotions are impossible to feel. It's the exact same concept of consciousness of senses. So let me give you a for instance. Okay, let's elaborate on this. And then I'm going to tell you how you can master it, how you can control it. For those of you that are in the New Age, you can look at the chakra system. You'll see that each chakra has an emotion that's tied to it, if you really study it. And each chakra has a different personality trait that's associated with that chakra. That's because if I'm in the emotion of anger, I have triggered the personality aspect, which will manifest itself, and I will act the angry person. However I created that aspect. And again, I'm going to do a whole video on personality aspects. We're just going to focus right now on emotions, okay? And I'll be able to show you a little bit more how that branches out. Kind of like a trunk into a tree, into twigs, and into the flowers, okay? It all branches out. Unfortunately, most of us are so busy looking at the twigs, we don't realize the branches, okay? It's not as complicated as what it looks like, because you're just lost in looking at the leaves, all right? So, all right, let's get to this, all right? Let's get to it. If I am in compassion, okay? Let's say I've come across a situation where compassion has now been brought up, and my awareness has moved in to the aspect of compassion, or has moved into compassion. I want you to notice, I cannot feel anger. I can't feel hate. Because that is not the programming, or that is not a part of compassion. Now, I might experience righteous anger, which is a little bit different, but you get the point. If I am in compassion, it's almost impossible to experience hate. Remember, these are experiences. If I'm in the emotion of sadness, it is impossible to feel joy. Now, the way a practitioner looks at the average man is like his awareness being blown from one emotion to another, constantly, always in flux, being triggered by the experiences or the things that he's thinking or seeing. I want you to know, your thoughts can trigger an emotion just as much as an actual experience. So this begs the question, Is our imagination just as real as real experiences? Now, once you understand this concept and you've got it grasped, I mean, you may have to do your own meditation about it. You need to discover this on your own. You need to think about how you are and what you experience in each emotion on purpose. So you know what each emotion to you is. I mean, I can't tell you what your emotion is. You're the only one that can do that. And then you understand that in reality, what's occurring is your awareness moving from one emotion to another, and including there is a neutral emotion. But the point of the matter is that when you experience an emotion, you are moving into that emotion. So now let's think about this. If this is really a concept, and this works, by the way, I've done it myself. Buddhists have studied this for thousands of years, and don't think that they're primitive, okay? That's all they did all day long, thousands of them, was think about the nature of the mind and the nature of reality. I think they might have come up with a few things. People just haven't been stupid, for history, and just became intelligent within the last couple of 100 years. But they even know that we can master our awareness. We can keep it out of an emotion. We can move it out of an emotion. Okay, we can. The trick is to be able to notice that we're moving into an emotion. And I want you to pay attention. This is the beginning of developing the watcher. And I'm going to do a whole video on the watcher and how to build it. But this is the beginning. I want you, the next time that you start to get angry, I want you to notice that you notice the anger first, or you notice the compassion first, or you noticed whatever emotion first, and then you moved into it. You could feel it rising, and then internally you looked at it and you focused on it. Wherever the focus goes, the awareness goes. Immediately after you focused on it, you started to move into that emotion. You don't have to take my word for this. If you watch your emotions, you'll see that I'm telling you is exactly true. You felt it coming up, and then you focused on it. Now, again, I'm not going to teach any particular system of the path. I'm not going to. You do your own path. Do what you feel comfortable with. I'm just here to give you guys tips and tricks on maybe how to find a little bit more depth out of it. But I'm going to recommend that you do this practice. Sit down, and there's a reason for this. This way you can control your emotions, okay? There's a reason to do this. And I want you to voluntarily bring up an emotion. Start with anger. For most of it, it's the easiest to do. And I don't want you to think angry thoughts, okay? Therapists say, think happy thoughts, and you'll be happy. No. What I want you to do is, without any kind of trigger, okay, bring up that feeling inside of you. You can do it, okay? It takes practice. I know you can do it. People have been doing it for thousands of years. Practitioners know how to do this. And if we can do it, you can do it too, okay? I'm giving you support here. Then I want you to bring up compassion. Get that feeling of compassion in you. And then I want you to bring up love. Get that feeling of love built up. Without, again, using any triggers. Just bring up the emotion. The way to do that is exactly how it happens normally for you. You will start to feel it slightly. Focus on it, and you'll move into it. Now, once you get this down pat, there's two techniques that you can use. Once you do an undesirable emotion, or let's say you're moving into an undesirable emotion, once you get the hang of being able to watch yourself move into an emotion, remember, we're developing the watcher. We see that key point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shift my focus away from it. Okay, now let me explain what I mean. I personally do not feel any emotion that I do not approve ahead of time. The technique that I like to use is the one I just explained. If I start to feel anger come up, I'm going to feel it. And I'm going to notice that I'm internally looking at it or focusing on it. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply shift and focus away from it. If I do fall into anger for whatever reason, let's say I missed my cue and I've discovered, wait a minute, I'm in anger. Well, I'm going to shift and start to feel compassion. I'm going to bring up that feeling of compassion. Remember, anger cannot exist while compassion exists, and that pulls me out of anger. Now, I like shifting my focus because I'm not suppressing an emotion then, am I? I am just choosing to not experience it. The exact same concept as if I want to stop my internal chatter, I will just shift my focus into hearing each word in my mind. I'm not suppressing any chatter, I'm just not experiencing it. All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop here because you've got enough homework before I go into my next video. I really want you guys to watch yourself. Again, I can't stress how important that is. Watch how you move between emotions, and you'll be able to master it just like me. It's easy to do. Anybody can do it, and you can do it too.